Hello, it's Grandma Ray. I love children, I love books, and I especially love reading books to children. In this video, I will be reading and recommending Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And this writing of this and the pictures are by Jan Brett. Here we go. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great huge bear. Looky there. You've got the little bear and the middle bear and the great huge bear, and look at their house. They have a lovely house. Oops. They each had a bowl for their porridge. A little bowl for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized bowl for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge bowl for the great huge bear. And they each had a chair to sit in, a little chair for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized chair for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge chair for the great huge bear. And they each had a bed to sleep in, a little bed for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized bed for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge bed for the great huge bear. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Small for small, middle-sized for middle-sized, and great big for great big. One day, after they had made their porridge for breakfast and poured it into their porridge bowls, they walked out into the wood while their porridge was cooling. There they go. They're going off for a walk while their porridge cools. Do you ever have oatmeal or maybe cream of wheat for breakfast and you have to wait for it to cool before you can eat it? My pages like to stick together. Here we go. And while they were walking, a little girl named Goldilocks came to their house. First, she looked in at the window. And she peeped in at the keyhole, and seeing no one was at home, she lifted the latch. The door opened before her, and in she went. Well, I will tell you, that does not sound like a good idea. That is a bad idea to go into somebody's house when they aren't home, if they have not invited you to come and do that. How pleased Goldilocks was when she saw the steaming porridge on the table. The sweet smell of the porridge with roasted nuts, honey, and berries filled the room. It was so tempting that Goldilocks set about helping herself. First, she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, but it was too hot. Then she tasted the porridge of the middle-sized bear, but it was too cold. And then she tried the porridge of the little small wee bear, and it was neither too hot nor too cold. It was just right. She liked it so much that she ate it all up. Uh-oh, she ate all of that little small wee bear's porridge. That's not a good idea. Then Goldilocks sat down in the chair of the great huge bear, but it was too hard for her. Then she sat down in the chair of the middle-sized bear, but it was too soft for her. And then she sat down in the chair of the little small wee bear, and this chair was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. So Goldilocks seated herself in it, and there she sat until the bottom of the chair gave way, and down she came, plump, upon the floor. Uh-oh. So the chair might have been just right for her, but she was not just right for that chair, was she? Then Goldilocks went upstairs to the bedroom in which the three bears slept. First, she lay down upon the bed of the great huge bear, but that was too high at the head for her. Next, she lay down upon the bed of the middle-sized bear, but that was too high at the foot for her. Then she lay down upon the bed of the little small wee bear, and that was neither too high at the head nor at the foot, but just right. So she covered herself up comfortably and fell fast asleep. Oh, isn't it nice to get comfortable and go to sleep? But not necessarily in somebody else's bed. By this time, the three bears thought their porridge would be cool enough to eat, so they returned home for breakfast. Now Goldilocks had left the spoon of the great huge bear standing in his porridge. "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And when the middle-sized bear looked at her, she saw the spoon was standing in it too. "Someone has been at my porridge," said the middle-sized bear in her middle voice. And then the little small wee bear looked at his bowl, and the spoon was in the porridge bowl, but the porridge was all gone. "Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Looky there. I don't know about you, but it would upset me to find out somebody had been eating my breakfast. I'll share my breakfast, but you must ask first. Upon this, the three bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up little small wee bear's breakfast, began to look about them. Now Goldilocks had not put the card cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the great huge bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And Goldilocks had crumpled the soft cushion of the middle-sized bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the middle-sized bear in her middle voice. And do you know what Goldilocks had done to the third chair? "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has sat the bottom right out of it," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Poor little small wee bear. Now he doesn't have a chair at all. Then the bears thought it necessary they should make a further search, so they went upstairs to their bedroom. Now Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the great huge bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And Goldilocks had pulled the cover of the middle-sized bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle-sized bear in her middle voice. There they are, the big bear and the middle bear. What do you think the little wee bear found? And then the little small wee bear came to look at his bed. There was Goldilocks, sleeping peacefully, her long shiny braids spread across the pillow. Little small wee bear just stared at her for a moment and didn't say anything. But then he cried, "Somebody has been lying in my bed, and here she is!" Well, that would surprise you, wouldn't it, to find somebody sleeping in your bed? Goldilocks had heard in her sleep the great rough, gruff voice of the great huge bear and the middle voice of the middle-sized bear. But it was only as if she heard someone speaking in a dream. But when she heard the little small wee voice of the little small wee bear, it was so sharp and so shrill and so like her own, it awakened her at once. Can you imagine waking up and seeing three bears staring at you? Oh my goodness. Oh, and I'm having trouble with pages again. There we go. Up she started, and when she saw the three bears on one side of the bed, she tumbled herself off the other and ran to the window. Out Goldilocks jumped and ran away as fast as she could run, not looking behind her until she was very far away. Boy, she was scared, wasn't she? I bet she never went in another house uninvited. And what happened to Goldilocks afterward, no one can tell. But the three bears never saw anything more of her. Huh. Well, I'm certain she never went back to that house for sure. Wasn't that a fun story? I hope you enjoyed it. If your grown-ups want more information about this book, they can find that in the show notes. I hope you'll join me again sometime. Bye-bye.